What if everything you've been told about building a strong core is wrong? Because the warriors who conquered the largest land empire in history didn't train for six-pack abs. They trained for something far more powerful, a core that could survive war. History remembers the Mongols for their speed, for their unmatched horsemen, for their devastating archery. But history rarely talks about the one weapon they carried into every battle: their bodies. Imagine riding across endless grasslands for 12 hours without modern saddles. Every stride of the horse sends shockwaves through your spine. Now imagine drawing a war bow powerful enough that many modern athletes would struggle to pull it back. Then imagine doing both while staying perfectly balanced. That wasn't just strength, it was extraordinary body control. And at the center of it all was something we often overlook today: a rock-solid core. Not the kind you show at the beach. The kind that keeps your body together when everything around you is trying to pull it apart. That's where I believe modern fitness has gone in the wrong direction. Millions of people spend hours chasing visible abs, crunches, sit-ups, endless repetitions. Yet many of those same people experience lower back pain after lifting a heavy box. They lose balance while running. They struggle to stabilize during squats or deadlifts. Why? Because having visible abdominal muscles doesn't automatically mean your core actually performs its primary job. A real core is much more than the muscles you see in the mirror. It's an entire stabilization system. Your transverse abdominis wraps around your torso like a natural weight belt. Your obliques resist unwanted rotation. Your diaphragm controls breathing under pressure. Your pelvic floor creates stability from below. Your spinal erectors keep your backbone aligned. Together, these muscles create a foundation that allows every movement, from lifting and sprinting to throwing and climbing, to happen safely and efficiently. Think of your core like the foundation of a skyscraper. Nobody admires the foundation, nobody takes pictures of it. But without it, everything above eventually begins to crack. The Mongols understood this long before sports science ever existed. Their daily lives demanded constant stability. Hours on horseback, heavy equipment, unpredictable terrain, explosive combat. Their bodies weren't built inside a gym. They adapted because survival demanded it. Today, we can recreate many of those same physical qualities, not by copying medieval training methods, but by understanding the principles behind them. And one of the most effective tools is isometric training. Instead of producing movement, isometric exercises teach your body to create force while resisting movement. That single difference changes everything. Let's begin with the first hold. Warrior plank hold. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary forearm plank, but appearances can be deceiving. Place your elbows directly beneath your shoulders, brace your abs, squeeze your glutes, pull your ribs slightly down, create one straight line from your head to your heels. Now here's the secret. Don't simply hold the position. Imagine dragging your elbows toward your feet while simultaneously pulling your feet toward your elbows. Nothing actually moves. Yet inside your body, nearly every muscle begins producing tension. This is the true purpose of isometric training. Your muscles generate force without changing length significantly. More importantly, your nervous system learns to recruit motor units more efficiently, allowing your body to produce greater stability and maintain force under fatigue. If you're new to this style of training, start with 20 to 30 seconds. Focus on perfect tension, not longer time, because quality always beats duration. One of the biggest mistakes people make is allowing their hips to sag or rise too high. The moment your spine loses its neutral position, tension escapes, stress shifts into the lower back, and the effectiveness of the exercise drops dramatically. Master the position first. Time comes later. Now let's challenge your body in a completely different direction. Side shield. Hold life doesn't only try to bend your spine backward. It constantly tries to twist you, to pull you sideways, to throw you off balance. That's exactly what this hold prepares you for. Support yourself on one forearm. Lift your hips until your body forms one straight line. Stay perfectly still. Although almost nothing appears to be happening, your obliques, glute medius, deep spinal stabilizers, and hip muscles are working relentlessly beneath the surface. Every second teaches your body to resist forces instead of collapsing under them. Think about carrying groceries with one hand. lifting a suitcase, holding a child, changing direction during sports, or simply preventing yourself from falling when you slip. Your core's real job isn't creating movement. Its primary job is preventing the wrong movement from happening. This is why these holds are so incredibly effective. From a scientific perspective, both exercises rely on three powerful mechanisms. The first is anti-extension. Your deep abdominal muscles work together with your spinal stabilizers to prevent excessive arching of the lumbar spine, reducing unnecessary stress on the discs and surrounding structures. The second is intra-abdominal pressure. When you breathe deeply into your diaphragm while bracing your abdominal wall and pelvic floor, your torso behaves like a pressurized cylinder. This internal pressure dramatically increases spinal stiffness, improves force transfer throughout the body, and creates the stable platform needed for powerful movement. It's the exact same principle elite powerlifters rely on before attempting massive squats or deadlifts. Finally, there's spinal stability. A stable spine doesn't mean a rigid spine. It means maintaining the strongest possible position while your arms and legs generate force. That's the hidden difference between someone who only looks athletic and someone whose body performs under real-world pressure. And this is only the beginning, because in Part 2, we'll explore 3 more Mongol-inspired holds that challenge your body in entirely new ways while uncovering the science behind anti-rotation, the posterior chain, progressive overload, and how your nervous system transforms simple static holds into extraordinary functional strength. But here's something history quietly teaches us. The strongest warriors weren't always the biggest. They were the ones who could keep producing force when everyone else was falling apart. Strength isn't just about how much you can lift once. It's about how well your body performs when fatigue, instability, and pressure begin to take over. And that's exactly where the next 3 holds come in. Hold number 3, Archer Hold. If there is one image that defines the Mongol warrior, it's this: a rider galloping across open grasslands, controlling a horse with his legs, while drawing a powerful bow with absolute precision. That level of coordination wasn't accidental. It required a body capable of resisting rotation while producing force through the upper body. That's exactly what Archer Hold trains. Extend one arm forward while pulling the opposite arm back as if drawing a massive war bow. Now freeze. Don't allow your shoulders to twist. Don't let your hips rotate. Keep your ribcage stacked over your pelvis while maintaining steady breathing. From the outside, almost nothing moves. Inside your body, however, your obliques, transverse abdominis, spinal stabilizers, shoulders, and hips are working together to resist rotational forces. This is called anti-rotation, and in my opinion, it's one of the most underrated qualities in modern fitness. Most injuries don't happen because people fail to create movement. They happen because the body fails to control movement. Whether you're swinging a golf club, throwing a punch, carrying luggage through an airport, or simply catching yourself during a sudden slip, your core's first responsibility is controlling unwanted rotation. The stronger your anti-rotation capacity becomes, the more efficient every athletic movement becomes. Hold number 4, Horse Stance Hold. Now we move from the upper body to the engine that powers nearly every human movement. Stand with your feet wider than shoulder width apart. Lower your hips, keep your chest proud, brace your core, and simply hold. At first, it feels manageable. Then 30 seconds pass, your legs begin to shake, your breathing becomes heavier, your mind starts negotiating with you. This is where the real training begins. Horse stance. Hold develops one of the most important systems in the human body, the posterior chain. This includes the glutes, hamstrings, spinal erectors, and deep hip stabilizers. These muscles generate explosive power, protect the lower back, improve posture, increase athletic performance, and perhaps most importantly, they allow force to travel efficiently from the ground through the rest of your body. Think of trying to fire a cannon from a collapsing platform. No matter how powerful the cannon is, the shot will never be stable. Your posterior chain is that platform. Without it, strength leaks away before it ever reaches your arms or legs. Hold number 5, Warrior Carry Hold. The final hold looks almost too simple. Pick up a heavy object on one side of your body, stand tall, or walk slowly. That's it. Yet every second becomes a battle. Gravity tries to pull you sideways. Your torso fights to stay upright. Your hips refuse to collapse. Your shoulders remain level. Every stabilizer throughout your body is forced to communicate as one integrated system. Unlike isolated exercises that train individual muscles, Warrior Carry Hold teaches your body to function as a single unit. And that's exactly how real life works. Because life doesn't test muscles, it tests movement. The science behind functional strength. One of the biggest misconceptions in fitness is believing that muscles alone create strength. The truth is, your nervous system is the first thing that becomes stronger. When you repeatedly perform high-quality isometric holds, your brain becomes better at recruiting motor units. Communication between muscles becomes faster. Stabilizers activate earlier. Unnecessary movement disappears. That's why many people feel dramatically stronger after only a few weeks, even before noticeable muscle growth occurs. The body isn't just building muscle, it's becoming more intelligent. HAT progressive overload, the missing piece. Here's another mistake I see all the time. People hold the exact same position for the exact same amount of time, week after week. Then they wonder why progress stops. Your body only adapts when it's given a new reason to adapt. Increase the hold by 5 seconds. Add external load. Use a more challenging variation. Reduce your base of support, or simply improve the quality of your tension. Small, consistent improvements create extraordinary, long-term results. That's the true meaning of progressive overload. How to build your weekly routine. If you're just getting started, keep it simple. Perform all 5 holds. Hold each position for 20 to 45 seconds. Rest for 30 to 60 seconds between exercises. Complete 2 to 4 rounds 2 or 3 times per week. Remember, never sacrifice technique for longer holds. A perfectly controlled 20 seconds will always outperform 1 minute of poor positioning. Master quality first. Time will naturally follow. My perspective. If there's one lesson these Mongol-inspired holds have reinforced for me, it's this. Fitness isn't about looking powerful, it's about becoming capable. Visible abs might impress people for a moment, but a resilient spine, stable hips, efficient movement, and a body that continues performing well decades from now, those are the qualities that truly matter. The strongest people I've met aren't always the most muscular. They're the ones whose bodies remain reliable under pressure, whether they're lifting, working, competing, or simply living their daily lives. That's the kind of strength worth chasing. Conclusion. The Mongol warriors didn't build their bodies to win competitions. They built them to survive, to endure, to adapt, and to perform when failure wasn't an option. Today, we may never ride across endless steppes or draw a massive war bow, but the principles behind their strength remain just as valuable. Build your foundation, train your stability, master your movement, and the strength you're looking for will follow naturally. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new today, don't forget to hit like to support the channel, share this video with someone who's serious about building real-world strength, and subscribe for more evidence-based training, forgotten warrior wisdom, and practical fitness strategies designed to help you become stronger, not just in the gym, but in everyday life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.